In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can build your very first GoHighLevel calendar fast. Once you're in your HighLevel account, I want you to click on calendars and we'll go straight to the back end of calendars in the calendar settings. Right here, you basically have an overview of all the different calendars that you have booked out or built out with the different duration times, the different calendar types. But again, it can be overwhelming. Just this one feature, just these calendars can be very overwhelming in HighLevel. So let's keep it simple and just get that first one live by creating a new calendar up here on the right. And the first calendar that most people need is either a simple calendar or a round robin calendar. You can look into the other ones, once you have a specific reason to. But again, I would choose either a simple calendar or round robin calendar to begin with. And there's main one difference is that if you use a round robin calendar, it'll automatically assign the leads to the person that it's supposed to assign it to. And so that can be pretty handy, and it's a little bit more complicated than the simple calendar. So that's why I'm just going to create a round robin calendar with you guys now. So as a calendar name, I decided to just call it 15-minute call with Johnny the Nomad. That's me. And then down here, this is what I was talking about with assigning contacts to specific users. So we need to select a team member. In my own account, it's just me right now. So I'll assign every contact that books a call on this calendar to myself. And if you have multiple team members, this can be, again, very handy, and you can decide how you want to distribute that as well. The widget booking URL or the slug at the end, I'll just call it 15-minute call dash with Johnny. Meeting duration was 30 minutes, but again, we'll change it to 15 minutes. And here we can create a little bit of availability, but really we just want to hit confirm as fast as possible, because once we hit confirm, you can see we're brought to this success page right here. And this success page gives us the links of the calendar. So I can go ahead and see this top link and just open it up by clicking on this little arrow. And now I can see if I change certain settings in the calendar settings, how does it actually populate on the actual calendar? So now if we go back to the calendars, I can go ahead and find that call or that calendar link, 15-minute call with Johnny the Nomad. Again, it's 15 minutes, round robin, it's active, and we can hit these three little dots and go ahead and edit it. And now by making changes on the back end of the calendar settings like here and adding something like please like this video, smiley face, we can hit save over here on the right, top right corner, and we can go to the actual calendar widget. Again, we want to make sure that loads fully, and then we can go to the calendar widget, we can hit refresh, and we can actually see if we change this on the back end, how does it change on the front end, and what are my customers actually experiencing? So I highly recommend that. So basically the 15-minute call with Johnny the Nomad is, again, if we go to meeting details, that's the calendar name up here. And down here where we added the description right here, please like this video, that is, again, what's populating here right now. So it's very important, again, and very easy to visualize if you have these two windows open, and that's what we'll keep doing. So here in the meeting details, we've got the calendar name, we've got the description. Group, if you have different calendars, you can add them all to a group, and that can make sense. But again, we're keeping it simple for now. Meeting title invite, this is basically what will show up on the calendar. So we would maybe add something like, 15-minute call with Johnny, and then that'll show up on the calendar as well. Optimize for availability or for equal distribution. So if you have multiple team members that should get the same amount of leads and the same amount of assigned contacts, you could optimize it for equal distribution. If you want to optimize it for availability and have like different priorities, you could do that as well. But again, right now it's just me in here. And we could also set up something like a custom Zoom link, a custom Google Meet link. And the cool thing about this round robin calendar as well is that if you have your Zoom or your Google Meet integrated, it'll actually create unique links for each and every meeting, which some people want, others don't want. I personally am okay with a custom link, and we could put a custom value in here or a custom URL where it's something like gosmarterflow.com/Zoom Jonathan. And then every time somebody clicks on /Zoom Jonathan, it'll bring you to my personal Zoom meeting room. So that's what I see a lot of businesses do as well. And yeah, we'll just leave that blank for now, and we'll hit save and continue. On the next page over here, we're brought to availability, and we could say, hey, I'm only available during these or these times. And if you want to add some times, let's say it's 8 to 5, and then also 6 to 7, you can add that to 1 and then hit this copy to all, copy to all, but let's say we're not working on Saturday or Sunday, and hit apply, and you can see now it changed it and basically copied it to all the days that we want to work. So I'll leave that there. It's a cool little trick. And yeah, this is a main thing of how often do we want to offer these meetings. So let's say I only want to offer these meetings at the full hour every 60 minutes, like at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Then I would set it like this, because right now we're offering it every 30 minutes, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30. But again, if we wanted to do every full hour, we would set this to 60 minutes. Meeting duration, this is a 15-minute call. So again, let's leave that at 15 minutes. Let's say I need at least 2 days in advance to know and just to prepare for the call. We could set that up there as minimum scheduling notice. Date range, let's say I only want people to be able to book out a maximum of 2 weeks in advance. Bookings per day. After 4 of these 15-minute calls, I'm dead. I can't handle more than an hour of calls. So let's say we have 4 per day. And then if people have booked 4 15-minute calls in a day, we just want to cut the calendar off. That would be this setting right here. And then maximum bookings per slot per user is, you probably just want this with 1, because again, you're just one person. And we could give it a little pre and post buffer time and say, hey, I need at least 15 minutes in between to use the toilet, fill up my water, and prepare a YouTube video. Once we hit save, we're brought to the next page, which is forms and payment. And here we'll just, usually the default form is good enough. If you have a form built under sites and forms, then you can basically choose that form right here as well. For example, some people might want to have certain information like the credit score or whatever it is. You can build a custom form that they can fill out basically. Pre-populate fields, sticky contacts. I think that's super handy and super smart to have on. That means if somebody's visited your calendars, your forms, your sites before, it'll recognize them based on the cookies. Pretty ninja stuff. And it'll just pre-populate their name, phone number, email. So super handy to have. You could change the consent box and the messaging here. You could say, hey, I want a specific thank you page, and I'll build that out under this URL. Then you could have the thank you page URL right there. Thank you message. So everything's very, very flexible and can be changed. Usually you do want to auto confirm new calendar meetings. And basically that's just a little setting on the back end. If for whatever reason you don't want to, you obviously don't have to, and you can just toggle this off. And what's also pretty cool is you can actually integrate this with Stripe and accept payments and say, hey, a 15-minute call with me is worth $15 because I earn $1 a minute. And that would, you could set that amount up right there. You can change the currency back here as well, enter a little description. And before you put anything live in HighLevel, whether it's a small calendar or a larger funnel or a smaller automation, you always want to test it. So that's the magic answer to any problem usually. Before you put something live, go through the flow yourself with a different email, a different name, whatever you want, and experience what your customers are going to experience so that, again, you can try what happens once I book this calendar meeting. What happens? What kind of emails, confirmation messages do I receive? So, and that's kind of why you have this test and live mode down here. So if you're testing payments, you want it to be in test, and you can just put in a fake credit card number with like 43434343. And if you want it to actually be live and you're ready to accept payments, you would toggle it to live. But for now, I don't need... Like this is a free 15-minute call. So I'm just going to toggle off payments. We'll hit save and we'll go to the next page, which is notifications and additional settings. So you could have standard acknowledgement email set up in here. I usually don't use the standard version here because they're not very flexible. And I usually build out my own automations in the automations part of HighLevel. So I recommend doing that. It's pretty simple. And once you understand that, it's crazy how much power is unleashed within HighLevel in and of its own. So if you do want to use the standard ones, you can say, hey, these contacts should receive them, or these people. But again, I'm going to leave it off. I want to allow Google and Outlook Calendar to send invitations and email updates to attendees. I want to assign the people to their respective calendar team members on each appointment. And if they have somebody assigned again already, then I want to skip the assigning. These are all specific settings for this round robin calendar. And I want to allow people to reschedule and cancel the meetings. And these are the additional notes that'll basically populate on the calendar. And so they'll have the rescheduling link, and you can see this is kind of like a custom value right now. So each time this is sent out, it won't actually say this. It'll populate with this specific link for that specific calendar and that specific person. So it's pretty cool. We'll hit save and continue. So the last and final tab here is customizations. This is where we can again customize our calendar a little bit. So I went ahead and added an image of myself because it's my calendar, just a little headshot of myself. And we pretty much usually want to choose the Neo version, but you can toggle between the two. We can always hit save here. The thing is, now that we're on this last page, once we do hit save, it'll actually close out the calendar. So I'll go back to this one. I'll hit edit. But now that I hit saved, I can refresh this calendar page basically, and I can see that the calendar has adjusted. So instead of every 30 minutes, we do have every hour only right here. It should populate my image as well. Sometimes it does just need a minute to populate, so I don't see my image here yet. We'll go ahead to customizations. We do have the image here, so we'll just go up here and hit save again. So that once I hit save there, it'll bring me down to customizations. Let's see if the image is populating now. Okay, I was confused for a minute because I added the calendar cover image right here. But if you read the small print, I totally forgot. The uploaded image here will be only visible within the group view. So this is for the group, not for the individual calendar link. And so that's why when I was refreshing, it wasn't populating. But here in the meeting details in the front end, this is the calendar logo. This is where you need to add this image here, and then it'll populate right here. So that's just a little FYI. So if we go back to customizations, what we can also do now is we can change the color here. So let's say instead of the blue, we want it to be this grayish blue, and then instead of white, we actually want it to be red. And we can just go up here and hit save. That way it won't log us out of the actual calendar. But if we go over here now and refresh, you can kind of see what these changes will again change on the actual calendar. And you can play around with this, but I wouldn't waste too much time with it. I would probably, if I were you, I would leave this white, and yeah, just change that back to white. And then if you want to change this to whatever one of your brand colors is, I do think that could make sense. So if we go back to the calendar now and hit refresh, you can see that, yeah, the numbers are still the gray that we had, and the white is the white again. So that's pretty much it. Once you have this calendar configured the way you want, again, you can just hit this edit button, you can hit this share, and you can get a scheduling link, and this scheduling link will have the URL that you want. So on the back end, it'll have the slug that you want. So this is, again, 15-minute call with Johnny. And if we go to the permanent link, this is just always going to be the same calendar link no matter what you change the slug to. So up to you. You can also get a one-time link that only works one time for one booking. And if you want to embed it somewhere outside of HighLevel, you could also embed it with this embedding code. But really, we want to keep everything in HighLevel. That's the power of HighLevel. So if you build funnels, forms, whatever it is, you want to really just leverage that power of HighLevel and use just embed it without having to mess around with code. But this calendar does work now. It is live. Theoretically, again, we can just test it. We can say, hey, we want Friday, 9 a.m. We'll hit select. We'll put in all of our data, and you can see it was pre-populated because I have that sticky contact on, and it remembered who I was basically. And we can hit confirm here. We can schedule the meeting, and you can see that this is basically the thank you page where we can add everything that we would want to add. Two things that I want to show you now, two main things are, one, how to build out automations for calendars, and two, how to change this link to be your domain. Because often this link is lead connector and kind of gray labeled with that, or it's part of the link might have your agency labeling. Like my agency labeling is link.gosmarterflow.com. But you can actually change this link to whatever you want this link to be. So let me show you how to do those two things. Let's start with the calendar automations. And for that, you just have to click on automation, create a new workflow. And we're just going to start from scratch. But there are some cool recipes like here, appointment confirmation and reminder. So actually, we're just going to start with this template. We're going to import this basically. And this will show us a nice layout of what this could look like. So the trigger here, is appointment is normal, or appointment status is confirmed. And then we could add another filter and say, hey, only if you have specific reminders that you want to send for specific calendars, you would say in calendar and then be like, yo, this is the 15-minute call calendar with Johnny the Nomad. So if, again, a meeting is booked on this specific calendar, we want to send this confirmation message and these reminders. Whereas if a meeting's booked on this calendar, we want to send these appointment reminders and confirmation message. So that's where you would change that in this little filter in calendar right here. But if you auto-confirm the calendar meetings, then they will always be confirmed and it will always trigger this. And again, if you just want it to be for all calendars, no matter when they book or what they book, then you could delete this, and now it will trigger once again any meeting is confirmed in any calendar. So that's the trigger pretty much, and you would always want to have this on published once you're actually ready to activate it. Again, this is just a demo, so I'll unpublish this or put it back into draft. And the idea is to, once they book, you want to send a confirmation email to them being like, hey, your appointment has been confirmed. Here's the appointment start time in this time zone. Let us know if you have any questions. And all of these custom values will basically populate with their specific data. And the easiest way, again, to test this is to just book an appointment on the calendar with your other email, and then you'll receive those appointment confirmation messages and the reminders. And you can send a test email here, but it won't populate the actual times because you didn't book an actual appointment on the calendar. So that's that. And I would add an internal notification here, because this confirmation email will be sent outwards to the leads, to the prospect, to your customers. Whereas if you add an internal notification via email, and let's again, you would just add something like, you have a new meeting. And you could add something like with, and then add their first name or full name here so that you know who you have a new meeting with. And you could add whatever you want to, all of their data, like their full name, their email, their phone number, whatever you want through those custom values down there as well. And we would basically just send this to all users, let's say save. So yeah, now you basically have an internal notification as well. Not only an outward facing confirmation email, but also an internal notification saying that, hey, somebody's booked a meeting on your calendar. You should know of this. And same for the 24 hours and the 1 hour reminders. If you wanted to send them not only outward, but also internally, you could just hit this copy button here and copy this action and paste it down here into the 24-hour window. So 24 hours, let's send an outward reminder, let's send an internal reminder, and we could also rename this and just say internal reminder. And so this is pretty much, again, a lot more flexible than the standard calendar confirmation messages in the calendar settings. You can really build out whatever you want. And what I often see people add here as well is once they book, let's actually create an opportunity. So you could create or update an opportunity and put it into a certain pipeline and say, hey, this is in my SaaS pipeline and the demo call has been booked. And yeah, that's really where a lot of power of HighLevel comes. So those were the automations. If you have any questions about this, this is one of the areas that I'm very well versed in and one of my expertise. So just shoot a comment down below and I'll be happy to reply back. A little thing that we also want to do on these calendars is we want to go to settings and we want to allow re-entry. So if they book another meeting, they can go back in, and we do not want to have stop on response on, because if they responded, it would stop them and it wouldn't send them the reminders. So allow re-entry on, stop on response off. If you wanted to send in specific time zones, you could do that as well, or during a specific time. And then you could also set from name and from email for all emails in this workflow right there. But we'll just hit save here. Again, this is just a quick demo. And next, I wanted to show you how easy it can be to customize that domain link of the calendar so that it can populate as whatever you want it to populate as. For that, we'll go to sites, we'll build a funnel, we'll just create a new funnel. You can check out some of the templates, but we'll just create a fast one from scratch because, again, I want to more inspire the ideas on how simple and fast this can be. And not necessarily go too much into the detail in this video. I can in the next video, so if you want me to go into detail in the next one, just let me know. But really, we just want to add a new step to this this funnel. We want to call this calendar booking page or whatever, and it'll populate the path. So we'll create this funnel step. Once you have that first funnel step, we'll basically just hit edit right here. I already did that and opened it up in a new tab. And then we're brought to this, and this is open already. So here in the sections, we'll just hit full width. We'll add a row. We'll do one column. We'll add an element. And then here's all the forms. Everything that you have in HighLevel can basically be added here. And so that's where you don't need code. If you wanted to add code, you could. But that's where you don't need code, and you can just add everything that's already in HighLevel. And you can search. So we'll just search for calendar. We'll add a calendar. We'll select the calendar, which is a 15-minute call with Johnny. And boom, there we go. We've got the calendar on the funnel page. Now we have to hit save. We'll update the SEO data. And once we hit publish, we can now add it to a domain. So whatever domain you want to add, you can add it. So we'll just add it to GoSmarterFlow.com for now. We'll hit save. And we'll go back out of here. We'll just refresh this real fast. And now that I hit refresh and it kind of populated the data that I had over here over into this version of HighLevel as well, I can preview the page with this button, and boom, we've got my calendar embedded on a funnel page. You can see it looks pretty much just like this calendar link over here. Like, it's literally almost the same. Little tiny difference in the spacing in the top and the bottom, and we could definitely change and edit that. But now it's not this generic link from link.gosmarterflow.com, but it's actually gosmarterflow.com/calendar booking page. And we could change this slug to whatever we want it to be. We could even add something in the front. If you wanted to add a subdomain instead of your root domain gosmarterflow.com, we could add a subdomain of booking.gosmarterflow.com. So really, if you embed a calendar on a funnel page like this, it'll just give you a lot more flexibility. Another quick way, if you don't want to do it like this for whatever reason, another quick way to do it is just go into settings and business profile, and then you can basically have this branded domain right here where you can just point a CNAME to brand.ludicrous.cloud, and it'll rebrand your links instead of the agency link or the generic HighLevel link into this business's specific branded links. And last but definitely not least, something that I forgot to mention earlier, basically you want to sync the HighLevel calendar to your personal calendar and your Gmail, Outlook, whatever it might be. And to do that, you have to log in as a user. Because right now, you can see I only have my staff because I'm the agency owner, but I actually can log in as somebody. If I click my name over here, hit login as, I can look for my email, jjschoenberg@gmail.com. I can click on my name, and it'll actually log me in as if I was that user. And you as the agency owner, you can do that for anybody and everybody. And again, to connect the calendar in HighLevel with your personal calendar, you need to log in as a user. And now that I'm logged in as a user, Jonathan Schoenberg, JJ Schoenberg, with this email, and I'm not in my main agency account anymore, I have this button over here on the left called My Profile. Once I click on My Profile, I'll basically be brought to that user's profile. And again, by having the round robin calendar assigned to myself and assigned to this user, I can now integrate my calendar to this user, and it'll check my calendar availability when suggesting times on that HighLevel calendar. And so the main calendar settings that you need to change here under My Profile are user availability. This will always override any calendar, so if you are only available during certain times, you definitely want to make sure this is up to date, not up to date like it is with me. And then you could set up your meeting location right here. You could integrate your Zoom, and this is where you can also, again, have an email two-way sync set up where your email inbox syncs. And this is where you also ask for the calendar and which calendar to basically check for conflicts. And so even though this user is jjschoenberg@gmail.com, I still connected it with my Jonathan at GoSmarterFlow, my business email basically. And so yeah, you can definitely do that, and that will work as well. And finally, if you do have Gmail, you will want to integrate it down here on the bottom left under integrations. And yeah, this is basically, again, just for your Google account so that that Google profile even shows up under my profile. So you'll probably want to do this first. Just go to integrations, connect everything that you have here with HighLevel. But again, specifically your Google account, if you want your Google account to show up on the calendars over here under my profile. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little calendar tutorial. I know HighLevel can be very overwhelming at first. Don't give up, you've got this, but I'm gonna keep posting free YouTube videos like this, and hopefully I can teach you some tricks in HighLevel. I will also be launching a free community and a paid community around HighLevel very, very soon. So if you want to be part of my community, just comment down below and I'll send you that link once it's ready. But otherwise, I'll see you in my next free YouTube videos, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Peace.